And for more on all this, let's bring in Matthew Levitt. He's the director of the Reinhard program on counterterrorism at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. He's also the author of the book Hamas, Politics, Charity, and Terrorism in the Service of the Jihad. Matthew, I just want to very quickly, you know Hamas very well. Explain the relationship between Hamas and Islamic Jihad, which is supposedly, according to both Israel and the United States intelligence services, the one responsible for firing this rocket and hitting this hospital.
Thanks for having me. Think of Palestinian Islamic Jihad as Hamas's little brother. They're both Sunni extremist Palestinian organizations that believe in destroying the state of Israel and are opposed to two-state solution. Palestinian Islamic Jihad only is in the business of terrorism, whereas Hamas is more of a movement. It has proselytizing activities, it has social welfare activities, it has political activities. There have been times when they've fought, even when Hamas has stopped Palestinian Islamic Jihad from firing missiles from time to time, when that was not in Hamas's interest. They've fought over claims of responsibility for things in the media, but overall, they are allies. Both are funded by Iran, but Islamic Jihad is so close to Iran that sometimes people tease it, describing it as being Shia, even though it's not, as a kind of derisive way of saying how close they are to Tehran.
And would Hamas know that Islamic Jihad was firing these rockets, or did they do that completely separately and on their own?
It's not necessarily the case that Hamas knows of every Islamic Jihad rocket that's being fired. Hamas knows in general terms.
Yeah, because the audio recording, the audio recording of the Hamas officials has one of them going, "Wait, hold on, I think it was one of ours." I mean, they appear to be a little taken aback too. That holy cow, what a big mistake this is, and I think it came from us.
It's the nature of people who are deployed to the battlefield that, you know, if you're in one rocket launching unit, you may not know what another one is doing. It's possible that people more senior did have some sense, but I think that they only know in general terms that we're shooting rockets this evening, we're not shooting rockets this evening, and it's likely that Islamic Jihad wasn't asking Hamas's permission. It's important to understand some 30% of the rockets that Palestinian terrorist groups across the board fired at Israel misfired.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you about something that President Biden said just a few moments ago in Air Force One about the American hostages currently being held in Gaza. He seemed to intimate that something may be developing soon. What do you think he's talking about?
Well, my first reaction is from his mouth to God's ears.
Yeah.
The hostage situation is just heart-wrenching. I think that there is a very significant amount of diplomatic pressure that's being put on Hamas and its allies. Think Turkey, Qatar, even Egypt that has communications with Hamas. I wouldn't describe them as allies of Hamas, and certainly Iran. And I see an opportunity if I'm Hamas to say, wait, there's a benefit here. What if I return all the non-Israeli or dual Israeli something else citizens? What if I return all the children, maybe even all the women?
Right.
They could do all of that, and they'd still have a significant, really big number of hostages. They could be seen to be magnanimous, which is a ridiculous way to put it in the context of hostage taking, and get some goodwill and be rid of something that is really a pressure point on them.
Well, and as you well know, this is not just a literal war. It's also an information war and a public relations battle. It's now been 12 days since those hostages, at least 199 according to Israel, 250 according to Hamas. We know Americans are among them. We know the U.S. is negotiating with Qatar for the release of these hostages. How did Qatar come into be in the position to negotiate on behalf of these terrorist organizations?
Qatar is very closely aligned with Muslim Brotherhood groups, and Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood branch of the Palestinian Palestinian community. Qatar has been providing funds to Hamas with Israel's general okay for some years now to pay for salaries so that there could be some type of economic benefit. This was the idea that has been tested all this time, and now tragically and devastatingly failed a week ago Saturday. But that puts Qatar in a position to have good ties with Hamas, and several of the most senior Hamas leaders are resident in Doha, Qatar.
Yeah.
And so they have that leverage also because they're living in Qatar.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.